ECSI fans, you want to revolutionize your sports investing habits? Allow me to tell you about WagerWire. WagerWire is an app that helps you become a superior bettor by allowing you to sync all your sports books and track all your bets in one place. See your current action, your betting history, and stats. You could also sign up for sports books and collect bonus offers. Follow them at WagerWire on X, as it's the best account on the platform. Head to App Store or Play Store now and search WagerWire and download the app. Good afternoon, sports fans from all around the globe. I am the host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors. And this is your weekend edition, abbreviated edition. I'm calling it the closing bell. But what the hell? Myself, Scott Webb, live from Tampa. It's going to bring you some afternoon baseball breakdowns, get you all set up for this evening's card. And what have you seen so far in the first couple of days and what to expect moving forward? But first and foremost, shout out to our proud sponsor and partnership, WagerWire. If you have not downloaded the app, that's on you. If you just came to us for the first time, welcome. Run on over to wherever you download the app. It's free. Start keeping track of your wagers. Start making this an investment, not entertainment. Scroll down to the bottom. Download all the casino sports books that are available in your state. We want you to start window shopping. We want you to. I froze here. Want you to be a part of this big, happy family. So please do it. If you're looking for a little flash cash, send an email to affiliate@wagerwire.com. Tell them JD from ECSI sent you. Zach, Travis, the rest of this community will take good care of you. So without further ado, the star of this show, the one and only Mr. Beam 'em up, Scotty himself, Scotty Webb. Afternoon, sir.
Hey, I got my O's hat on today instead of the Marlins today. I figured, the way that team hits, might as well put the O's on there and see what happens.
Well, it's baseball, and what do we say? No crying in baseball. And a shout out to Mr. Daniel Berry of Sports Highlights. Good afternoon and welcome. This year, kind of comical. I'm OFA. We haven't got a hit with the bases loaded. We, let me see, just got picked off trying to steal second. We've gotten thrown out at home today. So let's just say baseball has not been Betty good to me initially to start. Only a couple games that we've released, but again, haven't got a clutch hit when we needed it. Blown lead on our side with San Fran on opening day at San Diego, and you know what happens. You're supposed to come back and play them the next day. Well, of course I didn't, and then they win 8-3. But enough from me. How you doing, Scotty?
Hey, I'm doing well. Season's starting off good for me. Actual bets I've made, I think I've made 7 bets so far for the first 2 days. I'm 5-2, so that's not terrible. And I provide WEBBIE odds and stuff like that. So if you followed the EV Plus, I call it now EV, the WEBBIE EV Plus tool, there's been 14 plays it's suggested, and it's 11-3. So I think that part is working pretty well. Today, we'll see how things go. It says take Phillies. So I took Phillies today. And I know Albie's hit a home run already, so it's 2-0 Braves. But bases loaded Phillies. Freed struggling out there. He walked in and run, so it's not 2-1. The base is still loaded. So we'll see what happens. These games are, one of the things about baseball is sometimes it's better not even to watch them, is just kind of go off and do something else, take a peek, see what's going on, and something interesting, you can pay attention and then come back to it, because things change so dramatically and so fast in these games. And, you can be ahead 2-0 and then all of a sudden lose 7-2, that's the Phillies yesterday. Right. So it's crazy how baseball works that way. And, fandom out there is all about every little tiny thing. But gambling wise, you just can't let stuff bother you that way. You have to. I guess the best way to do it is remember that there's thousands of Major League Baseball bets opportunities based on the numbers of games and opportunities they have. So you might as well not get worked up one way or the other, because regardless, you're going to be just like the teams. You're going to win in a few streaks and you're going to lose in a few streaks, and there's not a whole lot you can do about it. So you just need to have a solid foundation of how you play and what you do, and keep a level head. Like there's no point in getting too worked up. It's not like a football game. Football, you can go out there and go crazy and get all worked up and be all excited. You can still be celebrating wins, don't get me wrong, and any bet you make. But at the same time, you got to remember, well, I got 3 or 4 or 5 more opportunities tomorrow, or 10, or however many you end up with. Every day is that way.
Going back to when we grew up, baseball, and again, my thoughts on today's NBA. That's for a whole nother. I don't even want to say segment. That's for a whole nother world. But baseball, when we grew up to today's baseball, the game has changed. Again, they're trying to use a pitch clock. They're trying to use bigger bases. And they want to speed the game up. Why? Because they want the game shorter. They want to bring the millennials, the Gen Zs, whatever the phrase that we're going to use today, they want to bring the youth back into baseball. And for me, I know if I'm heading to a game, I have nothing else booked. My ass is parked there. I've sat through 16, 17 inning games. It is what it is. My question to you is yesterday, and I almost commented on a tweet today, and I'll set you up with this. When I saw the replay of Rhys Hoskins' slide, I'm like, wow. And just the shortstop took offense. He really, really, really could have got hurt. And then, of course, Hoskins being Hoskins at the end is giving him McNeil the boo, 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 where. And then today in the 7th, Hoskins gets thrown at. And hats off to him, because it was clearly intent to be thrown at, and he just sat in the box. Guy gets tossed. And then someone tweeted about it, and I was actually starting to write Bush League, and it was on the Mets pitcher, because, it was intent he was throwing at him. Thoughts on the slide, thoughts on obviously the wham, and then, of course, then the retaliation today.
Well, there's, I think, a couple of things. Number one, I'm going to start with this and say Major League Baseball players today are far and away the best baseball players to ever play the game. And I know people are going to go and shoot me and do all this other stuff because, you got the Gibsons and the Sandy Koufaxes and all that stuff. And they're going to even go back to the Babe Ruth. They'll go back even to the Babe Ruth days and tell you how great all these players are. Those guys, Jeff, they have no chance against the Major League Baseball players of today. They just don't. And that doesn't mean that those guys weren't good in their day, but these guys are the very best players. Now, having said that, I don't want to call them like prima donna golfers either. And my opinion, basically, though, is that they've been coddled a little bit, and to a degree, I think they're soft. Little things, I shouldn't say little things. A slide like that is nothing compared to the way it was, 20 years ago. 20 years ago, there was intent. 20 years ago, you tried to take the guy out. You could see almost like hip checks and body blocks at second base. So they have eliminated a lot of that out of the game. And that was a pretty soft slide. Sure, the guy got spiked. Okay, well, that's part of the game too. That's going to happen. Get your damn feet out of the way. Now, I will say this, that I didn't like the way Hoskins handled it from the start. I thought the Mets, okay, whatever they blew up about it, it was kind of dumb. And then Hoskins goes back to the dugout, and then he starts chirping. Look, man, if you're going to chirp, stand right out there on the base. The guy's right there. He stood right over your ass. You know what I mean? Get up, and if you want to give him the crybaby eyes right there, then give him the crybaby eyes standing right there in front of his face, not back in the dugout. And then today, I thought that it was just sort of a I don't want to call it useless thing. I think it was more meaningless than anything. I think they were hours, if not batters, if not position, just too late. If you want to give the guy a message, do it the first time up, not the third time up, not when you're already behind 6-2 or whatever the score was. Not, it doesn't mean anything then, and it's obvious and it's intentful. And I don't know if you know much about the pitcher that was pitching for the Mets that day, or threw to him there, but he was the last guy to make the team. He's the last guy on the roster, the last guy in the bullpen, and he was probably told to, hey, this is what you're going to do when you go out there. So regardless, whatever, that's what happened. I don't think it was handled properly by almost any level of anywhere from the start of the thing. Now, again, fandom and people on the internet and all that stuff, they go crazy. So again, my basic opinion is that it was much ado about nothing. And if it sparks a team, that can be a good thing, right? Like, the Mets had one hit the other day. So, if it sparks the Mets to go on to win, okay, great. Well, they didn't go win. They were behind. I mean, they made a little bit of a comeback, and they still didn't win. So, maybe it sparks them. Maybe it unifies the team. Maybe, something like that could happen, which would be a good thing for a team. But I think overall that particular thing was not handled well at any level.
Give me 1 second here, Scotty. I just want to get rid of this for us so we don't get another commercial. When I was doing the intro, I got a commercial, and it's talking into my ear as I'm trying to talk. I was blessed growing up with Roger Clemens, Pedro Martinez. Okay, Roger was the funny one, where short-tempered. He would hit you right in the ass cheek. He'd stare you down. Pedro was a whole different animal, and he would hit you right in that rib cage, and you wouldn't be able to breathe. And put it this way, if you messed with him one time and he got you, I guarantee you wouldn't mess with him again. And so anytime Pedro was pitching, most of the time the rest of the team was minding their P's and Q's, because Pedro didn't care. That was his plate. When he is on the mound, it is his day. So you just didn't mess with Pedro, Scotty.
Well, some of these guys that are pitchers do well because they have an intimidation factor, and Pedro was that. Roger had a short temper out there, but I don't know how much intimidation he did. He threw hard, but he wasn't necessarily. Well, I shouldn't say that. He was intimidating too, but not in the same way, flamboyance that some of these guys have. And Pedro was all of that, right? And in the media and everything else, where you get to know some of these guys through the media sometimes. He's flamboyant. That's why he's on TV and all that stuff, even though he's calmed that way down. But for TV, but you miss some of that stuff. I miss too some of the personalities that used to be in the game, where you used to define players and talk to players, or hear people be classified as baseball players. They're just hard-nosed baseball players. They get out there, they get after the game. And that's all they live and die for, even though they're not the most athletic guy in the world. I don't really hear people described that way anymore. And it could be because, the quality of the player has gone up, and that kind of a player can't make it anymore. I mean, maybe something that has to do with it, but, you used to have those kind of guys all over the place, but they're not that, Freddie, what's the guy's, man, the little guy played second base for the Red Sox. What the heck is his name? Pedroia.
Dustin Pedroia.
Yeah, that guy. That guy reminds me of that kind of a player, right? Maybe he wasn't the best athlete, maybe he wasn't the best guy on the team and all that stuff. But man, it matters. It really does. And anyway, I do like the youth in baseball today. I like that they're younger, faster. They can run. They bring energy to the game. They bring spunk to the game. And that's compared to the PED era where the guys were holding back the younger guys because the guys that were 38, 39, 40, 41, 42 kept taking those drugs and still hitting the home runs and still being productive at the age that they were. But they can't run. They were station to station guys and whatever. So and relatively non-athletic. They could just get hit. So I do like the idea that the game is way more athletic, way faster, and I think it's in a pretty good place.
Kind of comical. You were talking soft, and here the Red Sox big opening day win. Had a pretty, I had to go face Kirby last night, and Pavetta his nails as always. But in batting practice, Devers, who had a big first game, was the favorite in our odds, our prop spreadsheet of the whole major leagues to hit a homer last night at plus 285. Was the shortest odds, and they're enough day to day with shoulder soreness. And I was going to bring up a couple injuries. Justin Steele fielding a bunt. You could see the cleat grabs the hamstring. He's out for some time now. And Royce Lewis legging out a hit, I think going second to third or something like that. I just saw earlier today going to be shut down for at least a month. This is spring training. This is day 3. Again, injuries do happen, but it almost reminds me of, some of these guys that might be taking it a little softer or easier in spring training and think they're just going to flip a switch, Scotty. And since the lights are on, the season's officially started, that their body's also going to follow suit.
Well, these spring injuries or early season injuries can be damaging to teams, and Royce Lewis is he's one of these key cogs for the Twins. Like, you have players on that team. They have Buxton and guys like that on their team, but Royce Lewis can be the difference maker. Like he's energy. He's a great player. He's a good defender. Missed a lot of time with that team, but he's just a good player, and he's a big injury for them, and he makes it hard. He makes it hard to bet on the Twins because the Twins struggle just like a lot of teams. I'm watching the Blue Jays earlier today. They get a couple guys on. Next guy comes up. 2 guys on, 2 base hits. Perfect. Okay, next guy comes up, bounces into a double play. Now they got a guy on third base. The next guy makes it out. Nothing. So these teams need people that produce guys on the bases to move around. They need to and produce runs. And I still think one of the most valuable things in baseball and the most overlooked aspect of offense is having those guys that drive in the runs, because they do it. They're constant and they do it all the time. You get guys that, hit 95 RBIs or 100 RBIs. It's just you cannot fathom how important those guys are to their offenses. But I will say, certain things that I've seen that I've liked, and I know it sounds a little goofy, but, last year, I beat up on Juan Soto a little bit. And watching him play this year and being in a new environment and being on a new team, he looks like a different player to me.
Well, can I interject right now? Because we talked about him taking all those walks. They didn't pay him to take the walks in San Diego. And you and I especially got chastised on Twitter. Well, he's getting on base, and it wasn't our point, was he's there to drive them in. And why is he a different player? very simply, because he's playing not just for a contract, he's playing for a contract that's either going to start potentially with a 5 or a monster year that starts with a 6, because he knows right across the street from the Bronx is the Mets with the checkbook. So he's minding his P's and Q's. He throws out the tying run opening day. He's a good fielder. Obviously he hasn't been home yet, but you keep an eye on all his numbers this year compared to last year. And apologies for interjecting.
Oh, no. My opinion is that he's been great. Nothing short of that. He's got base hits. He's drawn his walks. He's got on base almost. I wouldn't say every time, but he's got on base a ton already. Obviously, Aaron Judge hasn't done a whole lot yet, but the point is that he's just a different guy. I think when you watch him, he bounces, he bobs, he's doing the things that make him exciting and entertaining and energetic. I think that's a world of difference compared to what he was last year. And looking at what the Padres are doing, I think the Padres are doing. They look different. The Padres look like a gritty team this year, like a team that's not going to give up, that they're going to fight. And I didn't think they had any fight in them last year. So I don't know if that's a managerial change situation there, or if it's a Juan Soto's gone and now we got other players doing other things. But I think that's a pretty big plus for a team like San Diego. That I think that team is being overlooked. I think there's too much praise being not that they don't deserve some of it, but I think there's too much praise being put on the Giants too. I think the Giants are a good team, but I don't think they're as good as the Padres.
And it was funny. Me and Andrew McGinnis from Wager Talk did a show this morning, and we had Russell the Sailor come on. We were talking about the Dodgers, and Andrew brought up, some of the good front-running teams that Vegas has not caught up to them yet. Maybe this is the time to play them before you're going to start paying the tax about a month from now. You talked about the Braves putting up a 6 or 7 spot yesterday, and again, I was staring at their team total at 4 and a hook today, and they've already got 5 in the second. So it's just comical how baseball has started. It is what it is. We're in day 3 of a 162-game marathon. Standing room only right now. I can't thank you guys enough on Easter weekend. If you're new to the channel, please follow Scotty over at WEBBIE 20 MLB and myself at EC Sports Invest, both on Twitter or X. Jump on over to YouTube at East Coast Sports Investor. Subscribe, it's free, and just turn on the notifications so you never miss a show with us. Good slate tonight, Scotty. Full of action. You got the WEBBIE odds in front of you. You got the big stage. I'm going to bring you front and center and let you talk away. Okay, my brother?
Yeah, no worries. So I think there's, when you look at these games tonight, I guess we should probably start where the games haven't started. So like you got the Chicago Cubs and the Texas Rangers going tonight, and that's Hendricks and Bradford. And I tell you, if you didn't watch the first game they played, that was and I don't say this probably hardly ever, but that was a very well managed baseball game. The managers handled the pitching changes well, let their pitchers pitch in enough spots and get out of enough spots. Tonight's situation might be a little different. That game, I think the final was 3-2 and it went into extra innings or something. Might have been 4-3. But Hendricks is one of these guys that at this point in his career, even last year and the year before, he's just a soft tosser, but he's not hitting his spots nearly like he used to. His stuff is very diminished from where it used to be, and he's going to really need to rely on that ball being placed in the right location. And Bradford pitching for Texas, he probably isn't as well known as Hendricks, but he's going to be very similar. His stuff is not very good either, but he's going to locate maybe better. That doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to win, but what it does mean is balls in play. So when I think about a baseball game, I think about the first thing is how do the teams match up in terms of strengths. And in this particular case, I think Texas offense is a little better than the Cubs offense. That doesn't necessarily mean they're the best team. It just means they're a little better offense. And then on the pitching side, I think both pitchers are going to have balls in play. So that's going to then put a little more emphasis on the offenses, and then how do the offenses perform. And I think Texas being at home tonight, I think Texas having their ring ceremony will be today as well. I don't know if you saw the internet today and saw the ring, but holy crap, if you want to see a ring, look at that one. Look it up. They're all on Twitter, and you can see the ring. But my point being is that I think there's going to be some runs scored. So if you want to, shade overs, shade team totals over, none of that would bother me. I don't think that Texas has much, of a strength in the bullpen. I don't think the Cubs really do either. So, when it comes to these teams, I think they're going to both be pretty good offensively tonight. So I think you're going to see some balls in play and opportunities to score runs, and that's what you're looking for as an offense. The next game on the list is what is this next game? The next game is San Francisco, San Diego. In this particular matchup, I actually bet this game. I'm not sure exactly where the line is right this very second, but I bet it at San Diego minus 124 earlier. And what you're looking at is Hicks is pitching for San Francisco. And if you don't remember who he is, he was the Cardinals guy that was in the bullpen that throws 100 miles an hour every pitch. And he got hurt, so he didn't pitch much for them last year, and then got signed over to the Giants. The Giants decided to stretch him out and make him a starting pitcher. So in lieu of being a starting pitcher, he does not throw 100 miles an hour every pitch. So that tells you that these relief guys, especially the guys that throw hard like that, they max out effort every time they pick up the ball and they throw it. And that max effort obviously cost him, an elbow or whatever it was that hurt him. So now he's going to start, and it's going to be one of the first times he's ever started. Hey, Marty Lowe. It's going to be one of the first times he's ever started. I do expect him to have a shorter leash just because of, one, he's a relief pitcher being stretched out, and two, he's going to have to go through a lineup that can hit fastballs. So San Diego is going to be able to hit that fastball. Now, the other thing I like about this game is I think the market is disrespectful to Dylan Cease right now. Dylan Cease did not have the best of seasons last year, but his stuff is really good. I don't know how to tell you that you can have great seasons when you play for the Chicago White Sox. So Dylan Cease now gets a new lease on life. He's going to throw 96 miles an hour tonight. He's going to be really good. And that doesn't mean that, the Giants don't hit fastballs. It just means that he's going to be really good against the Giants. So I like the matchup. My number in that game was more like San Francisco or San Diego minus 150, not 125. So I think there's a lot of value there. So I played that game and I played it earlier. I'm not sure what the line on it is today. The Yankees are playing Houston today, and brings up a good conversation. Yankees have won 2. Houston has won 0. Does that mean that winning 3 games in a row is an impossibility? Well, a lot of people you talk to are going to tell you yes. I'm going to tell you no. The reason I tell you that is because it's baseball. The guys on the team don't go out there and go, oh, we're going to focus on this game harder on this one than we did the last 2 because we lost the last 2. It's not what happens. They go out there, they're professional guys, and they do their routine just like normal, and they play just like normal. They don't play any harder tonight than they did last night. The difference, though, in this particular game is you got Marcus Stroman pitching for the Yankees and Hunter Brown pitching for he's pitching for the Astros. Marcus Stroman's a veteran now. He's been around a while, and I think of him as, a bulldog, gritty kind of pitcher. I also think of him as a pitcher that is contact-based. He needs to get ground balls. And from what I've seen so far from what Houston's doing, that's what they do. They're not hitting the ball in the air right now. So that sort of feeds into what the Yankees pitcher will want to do tonight. Hunter Brown is a flamethrower. He's a hard-throwing guy. The Yankees can hit fastballs. So we'll just have to see. The Yankees just seem different to me. They're doing the same things they always have, but they're finding ways to win, and they didn't do that before. Meaning that they go up there, they get a guy on, they strike out a lot. They don't move the guys around much. But they are finding guys that can. Oswaldo Cabrera has been playing pretty well, and he got 4 hits yesterday. Soto, we talked about him earlier, has been doing pretty good. But the surprising thing to me has been the Yankees bullpen. The Yankees bullpen has been what has won both of these 2 games for them against the Astros. So we'll see what tonight's game brings. I didn't play this game. My number was Astros minus 132. I'm sorry, 129. I saw it at minus 132, so I think it's about the same. So I didn't see any edge there. Colorado plays Arizona, and Jeff mentioned earlier that talking about teams and odds and things like that. If you're into this business, the one thing that you want to do is you want to capitalize on hot teams. You want to capitalize on Arizona because they're hot. You want to capitalize on the Dodgers because they can score, right? You want to capitalize on the Orioles because they can score. You can think about the Braves and capitalizing on them. But you want to bet against teams like Colorado and Oakland and these guys that aren't scoring. But those things are cyclical. Every single team is going to win 50 games, and every single team will lose 50 games. It's sort of that other 50 games, 60 games in the middle, and what they do with those that determine whether they're a good team or a bad team. So that also means that even good teams, they're not going to go every game and win, right? So they're going to lose 2 or 3 in a row or 4. They're going to go through streaks where they don't hit and then they don't pitch. Bad teams are also going to go through then things where they do hit and they do score, and they're going to win 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 in a row. So you got to be careful about that, but you do want to try to figure things out. Now, this is new for me this year. My opinion on run lines and team totals has changed a little bit. I do not want to get involved in run lines and team totals in the first 4 or 5 days of the season. I will get involved in run lines and team totals, say game 6, 7, 8, or 9. And the reason is because my opinion is that when you're going to bet a team total, say today, for example, say you bet team total on Arizona over 5.5. I'm making up the number, but it was probably around there. Because you think that, okay, the Colorado Rockies pitchers are terrible and they've shown to be terrible. They're going to score a lot of runs. Well, that's just what you think. You got to prove it. So when you make your bet, you need to have conviction going to the window instead of a guesstimate. Know what your chances of winning that bet are before you walk up to the window and make it. So if you don't have any data to go off of, which you've got 1 game or 2 games, you really don't have data to go off of. Sure, you got what they've done as a batter-pitcher matchup and stuff like that. But my thoughts are that there should be no real reason why we should be betting run lines and or team totals in the first couple of days, because we don't have any information that says, I think this team's going to score 7 today. That's just an opinion. It's just a thought. It's not based off of data or numbers or modeling or any of that kind of stuff. So it's hard to really get a grasp on that. And batting, especially hitting, batting, that changes so fast. Batters and teams can go 3 or 4 games and do well, and then 3 or 4 games and do not so well. And then when you look at it over the course of a week, you may have picked up on the back end of that where they're not doing well. So your projections look like, okay, well, I'm just projecting 7 days here from what they've done on their data. And then, okay, well, the back 4 days, 3 days were bad. So your projections showing, oh, they're not very good or whatever. Or it could be vice versa of that. You think they're really doing good because the first 3 days were great. And so you still have them as being scoring too many runs. So you have to be careful, I think, a little bit on those bets. But I do think they are good bets. Here's my opinion on some of that stuff. One, I know what people do, and they go out and they go, okay, here's a favorite. They're minus 175 on the money line, and that's really high. And I get it, it is. But if you had a favorite, how about let's see. How about you take a favorite like here we go. This is a perfect one. How about you take a favorite like Cincinnati today? Cincinnati got bet up to minus 175. It might have been a bit higher before it went off. My number on Cincinnati today was 201. So I have 25 cents of value at 175. So here's what I think people are going to do. I think people are going to go out and they're going to go, I don't want to pay 175. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find a way to take this on the run line, or I'm going to change it to a team total. So I can still take the Reds, but I don't have to pay the juice. Well, here's what I'm going to recommend. My recommendation is going to be, it's a different bet. It's not the same bet. You're only making that bet to change your odds on a bet, and the Reds now don't have to win. They have to win by 2, or they have to score 6 or whatever the number is because of the run line at total. Maybe it's 5, maybe it's 4.5, maybe it's 5.5. So I think you need to rethink that strategy some in terms that when you are out there trying to make a bet, and the bet only consists of you getting better odds, but you change the format of the bet, it's not the same bet. So be careful in doing that. I'm not saying it's the wrong thing in terms that I know a lot of people go out there and do that all the time. Some are successful at it, some are not. Some get, kind of bit by that, half a run. I need to be 5.5 and they scored 5 or something. But also, I would tell you, you're not going to make minus 175 bets every day because you're not going to have 25 cents of value. They're not going to misprice those that often that way. They will early. So I would tell you it's a better bet to play the minus 175 if you have that kind of value than it is to go out and go, oh, 175 is too much, so I'm just going to play them on the run line at minus 110 or plus 105. That's my opinion. Anyway, next game is that Colorado-Arizona game. So you have Gomber pitching today for Colorado, and you have Henry that's pitching for Arizona. Neither one of these guys have good stuff. Gomber is really not good stuff. Both of them are going to rely on location. Obviously, the Diamondbacks offense is much better than the Rockies offense. Balls are going to be put in play. I don't like the number here. The number was like minus 170. My number shows it should be a little higher than that. But at the same time, I don't think there's value there because I think Rockies have a chance to actually put balls in play tonight. When you're facing Merrill Kelly, and or Zach Gallen, I think you got to be careful because those guys can shut you down, especially in Arizona. This is Tommy Henry. Tommy Henry gets hit. So I don't care if you're the Rockies. You got to remember, even though they're the Rockies, they are a professional Major League Baseball organization. Maybe not run like one, but they are one in terms of talent and players. Those guys can hit balls if they're in the zone. They can hit mistakes. Then you got the Cardinals and the Dodgers tonight. This is where Lance Lynn comes in. This is where Yamamoto comes back and pitches his second game from having sort of a nightmarish game over in Korea. I would suspect Yamamoto will be a lot better tonight. I think he'll be more comfortable tonight than he was his first time out. I think that one of his biggest issues when he was in Korea was that exactly the moment It was in a different country. Not that he hasn't been to Korea. I don't know. I mean, it was a similar orient. And I think that in this particular case, I think he'll be a little bit more comfortable. I think, secondly, Lance Lynn is a guy that was bad for the White Sox. I think he was decent for the Dodgers. I think he'll be decent tonight, but that doesn't mean that the Dodgers won't just rip him. He doesn't have the stuff they used to have. And if you remember what Lance Lynn was, or what Lance Lynn's makeup is, he's a fastball guy, challenge you guy, and he'll throw a slider. He doesn't have off-speed stuff. He doesn't have the ability to go out there and be like CC Sabathia was when he lost his velocity. He doesn't have that. He's going to go out there and throw as hard as he can, as long as he can. That's what he is. He's just a big guy that goes out there and will do that. I think the Dodgers will wear him out. And when it comes to Boston and Seattle, boy, what a game that was last night between Kirby and Pivetta. And then tonight you have Crawford, and Crawford is going against Gilbert. And my thoughts are, and Jeff, you can tell me if you like this idea or not, I think Cutter Crawford is probably going to be one of the Red Sox best pitchers. He's got the best stuff. And I know the people like Bello up there, but I'm telling you, Cutter Crawford's got better stuff. Now, Brian Bello might learn to pitch and might be okay, and he pitched a good game, game one, and they got to Castillo in game one. I think the Red Sox are a team that can score. I think that they got to limit. They got to be able to pitch, and they're facing a team in the Mariners that can't score. So this is a good matchup for the Red Sox. I think the Red Sox match up good to the Mariners. Now, last night I was on the Mariners, and luckily I won that game 1-0 with the home run there. But I was betting Kirby. That's what I was betting. I was betting Kirby. Tonight, if I was going to bet it, I would be betting Crawford, because I think Crawford's the right guy in this matchup against Gilbert. I think Gilbert is a good pitcher, but I don't think Gilbert is either Kirby or Castillo. He's a notch below them. And when you think about what the Mariners are on offense, if Julio Rodriguez isn't hitting, and he's hitting okay at the start, but if he's not, like on one of them streaks where he gets on base 15 straight times or something, that team can't score. They got nobody that can hit. So I find it hard to support the Mariners in this spot. What are they? They're like minus 150 or something, 145. I think that's a hard spot, even though they're at home and they're playing the Red Sox, because I think the Red Sox, take Devers out of the lineup, that's a big blow. But I think the Red Sox can at least put runs on the board.
And from a Red Sox perspective, 6-8 weeks ago, before we're in the spring training mode, we're waiting for spring training to start. Under overs come out, and I think it was 78.5. The whole world was on the under for the Sox. They weren't signing anyone. They were trading people. They were letting people go, yada, yada, yada. And then it got to a price point, 76.5. I'm like, Then I started doing more and more research on them. Taking a look again, the American League East, what's going on with the Yankees and their pitching staff? Cole out for 3 months. The uncertainty of what to expect from Toronto. My point is, I found some, I hate to use this word, but I'll use it, some value, and actually on the Sox team total, a win total over 76.5. Come out of the gate, great win against Castillo. Devers late scratch. They lose 1-0. Pivetta was just absolutely electric. Now, Gilbert versus Crawford. I too think Crawford has the best stuff. Yeah, we're waiting for Bella to evolve. But again, this is a game. Be huge for the Sox to find a way to win this game. I don't know if Devers is in or out, but to get 2-1, knowing going into Sunday, you did your job there. And this Red Sox are always historically been at their best, Scotty, when no one expects anything from them. You got Cora, basically dead man walking. They haven't offered him an extension. He's already made hints that he wants out. He'd be picked up in a heartbeat by a half dozen teams. I really, really like Cora. Is he Terry Francona? No, he's not. No one will ever be Terry Francona. But I think Cora's done a great, great job. And going from a top 3 team spending money to Tampa Rays of the East. I mean, East Coast Tampa, and it's kind of sad what Henry and them have done, but I don't think this gets said enough. They won 4 World Series. 4. Not many teams can, there's no teams that can say that. In that time period. So they've done what they had to do. They have other interests now, whether it's soccer teams, whether it's hockey teams, whether it's golf. So I know we're spoiled here in Boston. I couldn't be happier that we've won 4, but the summers go so much more better. Scott, you know this, is when your baseball team is winning. If not winning, at least competitive.
Yeah, I mean, they're fun to watch. It's entertainment for fans, and it's one of those scenarios where I think that everybody gets rallied up and gets behind their city, and it's nice. Summers are long. The days are long. The nights are it's 9:30 before the sun goes down. So, if you have stuff to do and places to go and things to be active with, and your baseball team is part of it, I think it goes hand in hand.
And I want to do this. I always talk, good friend, Rick Thomas, if you're listening, God bless you. Hope all is well in Montana. We got a fantasy team together. We talk sports around the clock. And it's all over Twitter today, and it's been that way. I say that technology is forcing the middle-aged man out of society. They're putting us to our rocking chair a lot sooner than we want to. In comes my office. I was in the office. We created an office in Centerville, Mass. a year ago, last August. YouTube TV, that's what I got there for the 3 big screen TVs in the viewing area. YouTube TV back then had the MLB network. They didn't renew it. So come last baseball season, I paid for MLB TV. I paid the $149, and then I was able to, on my smart TV, have the MLB app, and then I could pick whatever game I want. Well, this year it automatically renewed. I don't have the office. I closed it. Now we have a home studio, and I have 2 that I use with Anthony Pepe and Stoughton Canton. But my point is, I can get the games on my cell phone. I can get them on my iPad. I can get them on my desktop. I can't download the goddamn app on my TV, so I can't get them on TV. And I thought it was just me, and then my buddy Rick sent me this text from Twitter, and this guy's going ballistic saying, I can't download it on my TV. I don't know how you're watching them.
I have a fix for that.
Okay.
So if you want to watch your MLB app, which I have.
Yeah.
I've been watching it for probably 5 years now. It's on my laptop. It's on my desktop. It's on every TV I have. The TV that I have in one of my main rooms, it's a TV I bought probably 5 years ago. So it's limited on what it downloads and will store in the app. You can't download the app. So you go to Google or wherever, just Google Fire Stick. Fire Stick. It costs $21. It's a one-time buy. You don't buy it and pay for it over and over and over. So it's an interface. It plugs in the USB port on the back of your TV.
I have one of those in my bedroom. So go down into my bedroom and download the app.
Yeah, it will take. You can go get MLB. Just search it on your Fire Stick. It'll take it. You can download the MLB app through your Fire Stick, and then you can watch it on Fire Stick on your TV.
On all the TVs, or just the one in the bedroom?
Well, whichever one you've got the Fire Stick on.
Download it. Okay. All right. Hey, something's better than nothing. Like I says, I have Sirius Radio right next to my bed. I mean, I could listen to any game I wanted to anyways. I just fall asleep to the TV anyways. So great stuff as always. Closing thoughts. I like to wrap it up with closing thoughts with you.
Well, I think this. I think that one of the things that I've been really trying to hit home with in a lot of my tweets here lately is let me get my sheet for a second. You know, as a guy that's been in the professional world and a leader of people, one of the things you learn about dealing with businesses and lots of variety of people is that you can't control a lot of things. You just can't. But you can control many things. And in our business, Jeff, I think one of the biggest important things that people don't do is they don't educate themselves. They don't get better. They don't learn about anything. So I like to say this, and I've related it to this industry pretty well. I heard a guy talk about impatience, right? So I loved that terminology. He said, be impatient about the input you put into your head. So what he's talking about is planting seeds in your brain. Go learn as much as you can. Read as much as you can. Watch as many podcasts as you can. Once you hear stuff that you don't like, obviously, tune that out. But the point being is, you're only going to get better. You're only going to improve. You're only going to be a better bettor, not, critique of content creators. You're going to be a better if you go improve yourself, right? If you want to go be a poker player and you want to be a really good poker player, there's 50 books you can read on how to play poker, and you should read them all so that you know what's going on. I don't know that you can go buy 50 different books on how to do sports gambling, and everybody's personality types are different and what they kind of lean to or what they like or how they want to do things. So you learn it a little bit on your own. So you piecemeal a lot of it together, but you have to be impatient about learning those skill sets, about the input and where you get the input from. Because as you plant all those seeds, the things you can't control, the output, or in this case, the results, right? You can't control the results. So as you keep planting those seeds, the results tend to improve. They tend to get better. They tend to grow correctly. You're just trying to grow corn or something, and we got corn now, as opposed to growing corn and you get flowers, right? You're doing the right things. You're getting stronger in your ability to know what a good bet is, to understand when you walk up to that window and you give them that money, you know what your odds of winning that bet is. If you don't know what that is, what are you doing? Think about that. How many people go up to the window and they make a bet and they go, I want, I want Alabama tonight, give me the points. And they don't know what percentage chance that ticket has to actually win. And if they don't know, then how did they come up with the bet, number one? Number two, how did they come up with the amount of money to make that bet, right? I'm going to put $400 on this bet. Well, why would you do that? Well, it just feels right. Well, how many times have you heard that, right? I mean, it happens constantly, over and over and over and over and over. So my confusion with a lot of things is how many people don't go out and really try to get better. And I get it. Everybody's time crunched. Everybody's working. Everybody's doing this. Everybody's doing that. But just piecemeal things together. Piecemeal all your learnings together. Start writing stuff down a little bit. Start learning and growing some, and really become vigilant. Really become passionate. Impatient is a good word. Go out and be a person of action around the idea of all the inputs you can make. get as much input in that head as you can possibly get, because your outcome will improve. So that's kind of what I've been thinking about for the last couple of days. Results have been really good. I'm not sure about how it's going to turn out today. Doesn't look good right this minute. So but that happens. My thought was Nola was going to pitch halfway decent. Nola's pitching terrible. I thought Fried was going to be pitching pretty bad, and he did. But now the Braves got 7 runs or something like that. So I'm on the Phillies on a small underdog play. Okay, well, it's just one bet, right? Well, I'm on the Twins today, and they can't score. It's 1-0. They missed that Royce Lewis kid. So it's one of these deals where you start to get behind on some of these games. So I'm going to need that San Diego game tonight to help me get along a little bit better in today's games. But then you got tomorrow's games. It was great. Felt good to go to bed. I was 3-0 yesterday on all my bets. Felt really good. Get up today, feel strong, feel like you're making the right decisions, feel like you're making the right moves. But it's the same process. You look for the right values, you find the right plays, you think you have what you have, and then you ride with it. And then tomorrow you do the same thing, and you keep looking for those inputs. I think if anything I can tell anybody today, that's the most valuable thing you'll get is, no matter whether it's sports gambling or poker or you're learning how to grill fish, just get all of those things into your head, learn about them, study them, digest them, and then see what your results come out. See what the output is, because you can't control it.
Words of wisdom from the one and only Scotty Webb. Go follow him at WEBBIE20MLB. Go check out his website at www. Is it Webby?
MLB-daily.com.
Yes, go check out great information. Sign up at least for his email service for $150 in a 162 game season. It's less than $1 a game. Go check him out for the full season. Myself and Scotty, this was our second show of the week. We're going to get on at least 2 to 3 times a week. Hopefully we'll be doing more, maybe some mornings for the day games, maybe some evenings for some night games like today. So again, the best way never to miss a show, simple. Go follow me at EC Sports Invest, and go follow Scotty at WEBBIE20MLB, and then jump on over to East Coast Sports Investors on YouTube. Subscribe, it's free. Flip the switch, turn on the notifications, and never miss a show. It's that simple. And for me, very simply, it's Easter weekend. Enjoy the family tomorrow. If you have small kids, have fun with the Easter egg hunt. My 2 daughters, Caitlin and Kylie, are now 25 and 20, soon to be 26 and 21. There's no more Easter egg hunts. They grow up fast, people. Trust me on that. So have some fun, whether it's church service and then breakfast, ham dinners, going out with the family, whatever it is, just have fun with it. And myself and Scotty will be back next week. With the rest of the ECSI team. And of course, if you haven't downloaded the app, go on over to Google Play, wherever you download the app, WagerWire. Get it in your app store. Get familiar with it, because we're going to be doing a lot of talking. Monday is April 1st. We're going to start to do some daily shows with the app, with RT Sports, with the professor of Parlay, Martwan, and a lot of other the WagerWire team. So get accustomed to it. Can't thank everyone enough. You guys were great today. Earlier this morning with Andrew McGinnis from Wager Talking all week. So thank you guys. Have a great day. Go UConn tonight. Go BC in hockey tomorrow. And we'll see you next week.